Hey everyone, welcome back. Adam here with Indy Farm Life. So today we're going to work on fixing this Gannon box blade, this monster of a box blade. And I know your initial response, Adam, it's a giant hunk of steel. What could be wrong with that thing? Well, if you've been with the channel for a while, you've probably seen this guy here. This little wooden block that has seen some stuff and has a lot of miles on it. What's this thing do? Keeps my scar fires up. So this thing has 4 major springs on it. It's got these 2 smaller ones here, but the main ones are these torsion springs in there. And let me tell you, they were a pain to run down. Woods bought Gannon, but Gannon no longer exists. Woods did not have them. I actually had to go through Wayne Roy, and I will put a link, or at least down in the description, what these model numbers are for each of these, and a link to Wayne Roy's website, who then has a dealer network throughout the United States that you can find these springs if you're looking for something similar. And here's a shot of the springs. Like I said, the 2 smaller ones, and then these giant torsion springs here. These were not cheap. These were about 340 bucks, believe it or not. And I know what you're thinking, man, Adam, that is a lot of money for springs, and I don't disagree. I really tried looking and finding a way to put a hydraulic cylinder on this, but these are not made to accept a hydraulic cylinder. Woods and Gannon does have box blades that has a hydraulic cylinder on it, but there's a whole lot more other points that need to be welded on here and whatnot. And, you know, for the money, I thought I could get a cylinder on here, but it's just not feasible the way this is architected right now. So at least thought I'd get some new springs on here so I'm not dealing with that wooden block anymore. So I'll start this up and show you how weak the springs are on here. And I know I've talked about this thing a lot before, just about how beefy or stout or gargantuan, how much of a hoss this thing is. But to drive that point home one more time, did you guys see how the back of this tractor squatted when I picked it up? Yeah, I want to show you guys just how weak the springs are on this. And so if I go to pull this up, hey, it's not light. Just don't have much left in them, and it doesn't take hardly anything to knock this down. So if you don't have this piece of wood across here, just the bouncing alone by driving the tractor will kick this down and into the lock position. And so when it goes down, it's loud. And I don't know if you saw or not, but right here, there's a locking mechanism that keeps the teeth from pulling back as you're dragging. So let's get this pulled back up. We'll set this box back on the ground and try to pull these springs off here. As soon as I lift this up too, I will show you guys again, if you didn't catch it, just how heavy this box blade is. I bet it's 1,100 pounds or so. So that goes up. Such a nice feature. And you can move the tractor forward and backward. It's worth noting too that these springs, these are universal. You can put these on either side, but these are actually directional. So I'll have to open it up and see. They look nearly identical, but as you'll see when you're sitting up like this, the hooks are on opposite sides of one another. So they do have a left and a right. All right, the first item of business is to bring your rolly chair out on the gravel. I think I'll start by trying to take this spring here in the back off, or this little one here. I'll get you guys a better angle. In my head, this is going to go very smoothly. That's likely not the case. Actually, that's the case. Somebody smarter than me probably has a way better way of doing this. Huh. So that one's off. It's actually might be pretty easy. Taking it off might be fairly easy. Putting it back on, that could be where the fun happens. Do anything. Actually, where's my trusty dusty old stick at? One last ride, my friend. Tell you what, that thing's heavy. Nice. Pull this housing off and put this one on. Let's try that. Spring out of here. Actually, look at that. That's crazy. So that's probably a big part of why there's not much tension on these. Look how that spring there is uncoiled. Is the other one that way? No, just this side. Dang. Just go ahead and lay this guy on here. Man, stretching those back on there could be a nightmare, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. You're likely going to see me cycle my gloves on and off about 30 times in the course of this video. I mean, I like wearing gloves sometimes. You know, I don't like to have my hands completely destroyed. But a lot of times I call them an inhibitor. They're just getting away. Kind of like me in the camera. You can't see anything, can you? I've got my electrician's hammer here. Stick that over there so I lose it. So just one of those. Looks like a pretty good sized bolt. Are any of these even big enough? Nope. Be right back. Anybody think I should have taken this off the tractor yet? All right, so as I was walking away for a second, I thought to myself, you know what? Does that really have to come off there? There just seems like there's nothing holding it. Well, I got news for you guys. If any of you guys have a Gannon like this one out there, that bolt does not need to come off to get the spring out. It just has this hook in there, like kind of catching a hole in this somewhere. And so you just kind of walk this around until you get it out of that hole and pull it back. So here. So I got it loose now. You literally just slide it out. This does look to be the one that goes on this side. The little bell is opposite on here, and this is on the top. So I believe we go in. I think I got it already. Yeah, it feels like I grabbed it. It'd be a whole lot easier if this tractor was not on here. So I'm gonna just drop the Gannon. It feels really good on the knees. Okay, I'm not able to show you guys with the camera probably what's going on in there, but I'll do my best to explain it. Actually, you can see it right here. So this little dot, this little weld spot here and here, there is basically a rod that's going right through the middle of this cylinder, about, I don't know, ½ inch off the back there. So I believe the way this is working is when you go in here and then you pull this and it rotates up, it's catching that rod. It runs right across there, and that's what's keeping this in place from turning. So I believe if we were to stick the thing in like this, right now it should turn until that little hook gets to that rod. Right? Well, I think it may already be there. Let's do the other side. And just stick that pin back in before I forget to. The hard part though is me setting the tension back on this. All right, so same situation here. Pull this little spring. This one's actually intact-ish. All right, so this one, yep, definitely the same spring. The bell end kind of going down with the hook on the bottom side. So we spin it down, pull it out just a little bit. Might be one of those good moments for gloves. I don't know about you guys, but man, having this box blade, this is one of the best things. All right. All right, that seems good there. What's the easier way to set this? Anybody know? Basically, we're gonna try to push this up, pull this back, and hope I don't break a thumb. Yeah, we're just gonna try to give her the old heave-ho here and see what happens. All right. Who needs tools when you got man hands? I think that's right. Today's episode of Adam Goes to the Hospital. Oh, I believe, aside from rigging up the lock, this should mostly be done. I did read something where someone was talking about like setting your tension, and I'm not sure I'm there yet, because quite honestly, this seems still pretty loose and bouncy. Let me show you. So when I bought these springs, a review I found, I can't remember if it was actually on the Wainwright site or just like a forum, people were talking about how you set the tension on these, and that you know, I may not be set to where I need it to be, because it still seems fairly like loose, and like right there it would go down, sure. So I feel like something is not right. Of course this needs to be down to probably get this over. So that needs to be fixed. That one wasn't seated properly. See, now we're having fun, guys. I swear if it broke the tip off that spring, I'm gonna cry. All right, I figured this out. So I removed the cotter pin up here, like I showed you on the other side. So now that you can see we have these little notches here, I got the breaker bar out and loosened that bolt. And now this thing can spin. So effectively what we can do is move this pin that's setting everything inside here at the back like this from being parallel to the ground. We can start to rotate its angle. I don't know how far I need to go, so it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. We're just going to guess and see what kind of tension we think we need here, which I will say is a whole lot of fun because, you know, there's just no way to really know. All right, so we were previously, I think right there, a little high. Or was it there? Be good to know your starting spot. Let's think about this. So for we did have it going to the bottom here. So the further we go this way, the more tension we're gonna have. Man, I can't even think about how I'm gonna get that on there later. So you want some tension on this? It's probably right there. I don't know how crazy you want to go. So let's just do one. I'll have to go and do the other side and do the same there. I'm gonna replace that cotter pin too. Now let's just put that in there for now, like so. Get this somewhat tight. All right, let's go get the torque wrench. Ow! Son of a... Sorry about that. The grasshopper got me when I was in the garage on the ankle. Just jumped out of nowhere. I'm gonna fuss with this off camera for a few minutes and then we'll circle up. All right, so I believe I got this side done and I only pulled, I think, one muscle in the process of setting that spring there. Instead of trying to explain how this goes together on here, I'm gonna take the other side apart and show you how it's done. Because if I can save even one person a little headache, then this video is worth it. It'll make a whole lot more sense though once you get this off here and see how this thing comes together. And my camera is actually on one of the scar fires, so if this thing goes flying, you guys are too. Get that off there. All right, so take that off here. Get this cotter pin out of here. Back side. It's one of those things, like, you do it once and then it's quick, but that first time takes forever. Bolt off of here. Good and tight. So you take the bolt off the back. It's just a bolt and a lock washer. Okay, great. And this guy comes out of here. So the way this works, I kind of explained it earlier, but pull this out of here. Let's knock a bunch of rust out of here too. As I mentioned before, there's a bar running through the middle of this, right, that spring catches on. It's also noteworthy though too that this kind of called the center stabilizer is through that bar inside there, goes through the middle of this. So it's like basically a hole inside this at the end. And it can slide. This one will do it. The other one did a lot. It'll go left and right inside of this circle, inside of this cylinder. So, like for example there, you can see how far off to the side this is here. And you can do the same thing over there. So it makes it hard to center the spring in there when you have it on there. So what I did on the other one was what I'm doing right here is I took it off. Right now it's horizontal. The bar is going through there. What we're gonna do is get this thing in there and it's gonna rotate and then it's gonna ultimately at some point hook. What I found is it's just easier to get this thing seated when it's not on the machine. Right there seems like it's good and seated. And then we'll put it on here, and I believe I was on the third. There's kind of a break in the pins on here, and I was on the third one on the other side, which would put our bolt back on. That seems extreme, but man, it's closer. So let's just tighten this down a little bit. We'll make sure that that spring's gonna stay. If that was the problem on the first one, the spring wasn't really sitting in the underneath that bar like it should have been. That's why it jumped off. Alright, that's good enough for now. It's still... There it goes. Gonna keep the old board here, or actually get this to work. Dang, is that locked on something? Because that is serious now. That does not want to move at all now. Oh my goodness. I think we got her now. Dang, son. Let's hook this thing back up and then I'll show you guys how this works, and well, my first test flight too. Oh boy, she doesn't want to go all the way. Felt like something really bound on that, but It's locked. Didn't sound great, did it? Everything looks right though. Got nice tension on those springs there. Those are laid over at a nice level. The lifting mechanism, the push down mechanism, whatever you want to call it, is locked. So those scar fires will not kick back as we drop them into the earth. They're good and locked. So all right, let's undo this here and see how it comes back and with what kind of force. Oh, it's still got quite a bit of weight on it. Oh, you know what that loud clicking was? Man, I'm not happy. Oh, it was those springs coming off those holders. How did that happen? Just when you think you're almost done. Well, we know the process. Let's repeat it. I don't know if they both did or just one. Looks like maybe just that side came off. This one's still got good tension on it. So let that be a lesson if you're doing this. Make sure you double, triple, quadruple check. I don't even know how you check it, but make sure that you have that hook seated around that pin in there. That's exactly what just happened. This one just came off. The other one I think is still good. All right, take two. It's definitely gonna stay up, which is nice. This thing doesn't have near as much force on it as I had thought, which is good. All right, I'm excited. That's awesome. Hydraulic would be really nice to have. And you know what? Maybe one day I'll do it. But this is nice. Yeah, that one could use some more tension for sure. It's not near as tight as this one. If you got this far in the video, you either really like the channel or you have a Gannon and you're curious about how it works. But you can see here there's a little play in that one. Whereas over here, it's much tighter. Now you can't add tension to this spring itself. What you'd have to do is pull that pin and rotate, let's see, clockwise on this one would tighten the right side. So as you bring this forward to the right, it'll bring that head down, which will add tension and holding power to the top here. And the other side is just the opposite, counterclockwise, i.e. getting this eye down is how you would add tension to this one. So I could do that at some point. It's got pretty good holding power. A lot of breakover force on this. I mean, if I'm going down the road or the farm lane and the bouncing gets that to go down now, I think we got problems. I have a broken spine. But lays over nice, not too bad. It'd be nice to be able to do it from the seat, but the way this works, it'd be really difficult to put it back down. Or sorry, back up. Pull that up. One more thing I want to show you though before I go is if you have a box blade on your tractor and you do not have a top and tilt kit, you need one. Here's why. You can turn this basically into a 6-blade blade and it's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.